Good morning, guys. Welcome back to the channel. Today's going to be another video that's been quite requested. A lot of people have been asking me why I've been talking about Hermes so much lately and if it's really that much better than openclaw. Now, I want to say better is a subjective word because they're both very capable harnesses and you can do a lot with both. However, I have spent hundreds and hundreds of hours in openclaw and recently made the switch to Hermes, and I will tell you why I'm personally using it as my daily driver now. So, what's the difference between Hermes and openclaw? Why are they even different to begin with? Well, openclaw was a harness that got very popular a month or so back. You guys saw how fast it was growing in stars on GitHub because it really unlocked the potential of having an agent just have access to all your systems, your programs, be able to do whatever you ask, and not kind of be um, held back by access and capability. However, from my testing of openclaw over the past 2 months, I have come to the determination that there just is a lot of processes in however it's operating that causes it to freeze or lag or make a mistake. And even though I've spent months fixing every issue individually, it kept seeming like I would put a fire out and another one would catch flames somewhere else, and I was constantly wasting time trying to fix the system as opposed to working with it. Now, I recently decided, let me try Hermes out. I've seen a lot of people talking about it. Let me see if it's really good or really bad, or if it's just overhyped. So I went ahead and I got Hermes. And if you guys want to know how to get Hermes and how you can migrate your openclaw data, I have a GitHub that I have put out for Hermes. It's the Hermes optimization guide. We've already gotten 87 stars here in a few days. And this goes over how you can install it, how you can migrate your openclaw data, how you can set up a memory system that is state of the art. Now, I'm using a state of the art memory system. I know a lot of people prefer Obsidian because it's easier. However, in my opinion and research, I believe LightReg is a more advanced system. I think it gives you a little bit better data. And also, I'm using 4,000 DIMMs. If you don't know what a DIMM is, and you don't know what you're looking at when you see the screen is a visual representation of all the data that I've collected, that we've used, every conversation, every test I've ran in my openclaw setup over a few months, as well as other places that I've imported data like my Gemini and my Google. So the size of these circles are basically showing how much that piece of data is related to everything else. And without boring you and yapping too much, this system makes it so when I ask a question to my bot, it understands everything that's going on, very detailed. It answers me instantly. And the memory is very human like, it's very advanced. Basically, a complete game changer for when you're using these LLMs. It feels like it's actually getting smarter every day. So when you get into your Hermes, what I recommend you do is you set up your Hermes, you set up openclaw migration if you were using openclaw before. If you're not, just do a fresh setup. Um, you want to get your LightReg set up, your Telegram, and then the cool thing about Hermes is that it does something that I think openclaw has the ability to do but does poorly, and it's that it can create skills on the fly. So let's say you've asked your agent to do something and it gets to a point where it's like, I'm not really sure what to do here, or I don't have the ability to do that. I would say 9 times out of 10, if you simply say, create a skill to do that, it just will. And I know that sounds silly, but I've tested it time and time again, and he will just create a skill to solve the problem somehow. He'll get creative, he'll make it work. So this is a very, very, very cool thing, because let's say you spend a couple hours building some sort of workflow with them, you can save it as a skill, and the next time you want to use it, you can just run it, or you can upload it to your GitHub and let other people use the skill as well. It's very useful. So why is Hermes so much better than OpenClaw in my opinion? Well, I think it's just because it works. I've been using Hermes 24 hours a day since I got it, and I haven't had a single workflow get interrupted. I haven't had a single issue outside of some API service provider issues. There was a little bit of downtime yesterday from one of the APIs I'm using, but that wasn't on Hermes side. That was on the provider side. However, it basically just stays up. It works perfectly. It's less bloaty. It uses less your tokens. everything about what you wanted your openclaw to be, Hermes basically is. And for the most people, if you're using it inside your Telegram or inside your Discord, you're not even going to know the difference between what's going on the back end. So I think definitely try it out if you've been having some stress with openclaw and it's been driving you crazy. Now, I do want to talk about how I am using my Hermes and what I'm using to power it, so you guys know all the sauce. So in my personal setup, we're using Mimo V2 Pro. Now, Mimo V2 Pro is a model by Xiaomi, which is a Chinese company that makes phones, they make cars, they make basically everything. They're a giga corporation, multi-billion dollar business. I've very much been a fan of their products for a long time. And it looks like that is the case once more with their LLM model. Now, they have a token plan right now where it's about $100 a month, and with that token plan, you get over 1.6 billion tokens. Now, that's a lot of tokens. A lot of people don't know the math, but just know that's a lot. It's going to be hard for you to get through that too quickly. And the cool thing about Mimo and why I recommend people to use it is that if you've been using Opus for a while now, you'll notice it's kind of slow. It only gets around 30 to 40 tokens per second on the regular mode. And if you use fast mode, it's like 80 tokens per second, but they're charging you such a hilarious amount of usage. It's almost diabolical, really. Mimo is by default that 80 tokens per second speed, so it's gonna feel like the fast mode for Opus. It's really good, and the quality is very close. Maybe it's not as good at some things, but there's a lot of things that it's better at than Opus in my personal workflows. For example, like massive swarm pipeline lead gen and other stuff like that, employee management of companies, going through all my stuff like perpetually. It seems to be a really, really good job. So I'm using that as my daily driver. I have Kimmy for a sub agent when I need it. I do have a subscription to every plan, Claude, Claude, OpenAI, Minimax, and I have a plan with everything. But my daily driver is Mimo, and to be honest, there isn't really anything it can't do. Using it as my daily driver in Hermes has been some of the greatest AI agent experiences I've had since I've started, and it's almost so good. I feel like I'm fucking myself over by telling you guys because it's such a good daily driver that I felt like I had an advantage over other people because they were dealing with all this tech support. They were dealing with their AI not working, blah, blah, blah. And then when they did finally have their AI work, they're yapping about how GPT isn't good and it's not working in their agent. Meanwhile, I'm using Mimo and he's one-shotting like everything I ask at super speeds for like low cost. So that's probably going to be it for this guide. I wanted to keep the video a little bit short and just kind of go over why I'm using Hermes instead of openclaw. These videos are very badly edited and very poor, and I apologize. I'm just pressing record and posting the video right when I wake up in the morning because I'm vibe coding so much. If I don't do it now, I'm going to forget to post the video, and things are going by too quick. I need to start recording some stuff for you guys so you know what's going on. My name's Terp. I love you guys. I'm a nerd. I'm passionate about this stuff. I see the world going to AI. I know we all have to be as quick as we can so that we can also take advantage of it before the big corporations take all the market share. So I'm going to try to help you guys do that. Thank you guys for watching. If you made it to the end, I appreciate it. Please hit the subscribe button, press the like button, drop a comment, say hi. Have a great rest of your day, guys. I'll be back.